Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Opera version 5. This time we're going to see 3 more interesting subjects. We're going to cover the company and the travel agency reservations. Together with those, we're going to set up some routings, which is billing instructions. And finally, last but not least, I will display how we make some specials requirements. So if I want to make, let's say, a company reservation, therefore I need to go into my reservations again, and we want to create a new reservation. Therefore you click on new reservation. Like any other reservation, you need first of all to make sure that you have the guest available here in the database of profiles. Unfortunately, if I tap here Gillen and search, it doesn't exist. Therefore, I need to create it. I create a new one, so it's Gillen Hammer PG. It's a Mr. Do we know his home address? No, because this guy is coming with a company, and therefore we will only take the company address. However, what else do we know? We know that Gillenhammer PG, he likes non-smoking South View. This is considered a preference, so we go into options, preferences, create a new one. First of all, non-smoking is a smoking feature. Select non-smoking, click on OK. Then create a second one regarding the room features. Therefore, he likes South View. So again, you click on the first column to select it. Click on OK. Click on Close. And close again. So now we entered the preferences of Mr. Gillenhammer. What else do we know? He's a Mr. We entered it again already. We know he's a frequent guest. Therefore, the code is FRE. The nationality is Swedish. The code is SE. And that's about everything we know about this person. Therefore, we can click on OK. It will create the profile of the guests. Now we go forward into his reservation. Therefore, we need to know his room type. He requested a business single, and the rate is corporate. So business single and corporate is here. Double click on the rate. So we know that it's a business single corporate rate. We also know that Mr. Gillenhammer is arriving today for 3 nights. It's going to be 1 adult, 0 children. Okay. Do we have his estimated time of arrival? Yes, it is 9 p.m. Okay, the reservation type is guaranteed by company. Okay, the source was the fax. And for companies here, we use what we call City Ledger. City Ledger means that instead of printing out the guest bill for what is paid by the company, we had an agreement with the company so that we sent directly the bill to them, and City Ledger is what we use in order to mention it. So we click on OK. Now, we need to enter the information about the company because we don't have any company here. So if you go on the top of your reservation, you can see that we have different options on the right. So first of all, we want to go into companies, and companies, like any guest, start always the name with a 3-digit number. So if you click on return, it will again go into a profile search, but this time it's going to be a company profile. As you can see here, we don't have any company profile, therefore we create a new one. You will see that it's a bit different than the other individual profile because we don't need the same information. So the company name is Volvo Cars. Then we have the business address. Look at that. As I mentioned earlier, before we had the home address here in blue and the business address in black. Now it's reversed because, of course, with companies we only use the professional address, business address. So the address is Torsand Lave 4044. The city is Gothenburg. Do we have a postal code? Yes, 46172. What else do we know? We know that it's in Sweden. What else do we know? Oh, we have a business phone, therefore business 46. Again, I would like to stress out that you need to respect exactly the spelling we use, even for the numbers, because it may lead to some errors if Opera is linked to a telephone directly, and if you don't put the spaces in between, it may lead to not being able to go through. Therefore, here we entered the company profile for Volvo Cars. Do we have any other information? Volvo, the address, phone and fax. Yes, we have some information about contacts. How do we do that? Well, it's not in here, so we click on OK here. It will save the profile of Volvo, and now we need to go and create some contacts for this company. 004, same, you enter the 3-digit number, it will search into the contact database. We don't have any contacts, therefore you create a new one. Double check again. Again, we this time are in the contact search and we don't have any contacts, so you create a new one. 004, the contact name is Anderson Anna. We assume that she's a miss, we don't know her. Language will always be English. Okay. Now, we have entered the contact details. Now we need to enter into the options and create the relationship of this contact to the company. In order to do that, we go into relationship, and you have no relationship set up so far, so we need to create a new one, and we're gonna link it into a company, and the relationship will be Mrs. Anderson being the employee from her employer, which is Volvo. So OK. Now it opens the profile search for companies, as you can see from here. Therefore you type your 3-digit numbers, scan for Volvo Cars. Once it's set up, you click on OK. And now we have the relationship of Miss Anderson being an employee to Volvo Cars, which is her employer. You click on OK, close, and here you can now click on OK. And the last operation before you finish setting up the contact and the relationship is you need to specify for which purposes will you contact Mrs. Anderson. Will it be for reservations, billing, or both? As we know here, she is the same contact for the reservation and the billing. Therefore, you go on the elevator here, select reservation and billing, click on OK. That's it. We have created a company reservation which included a guest profile, a company profile, and a contact detail with the relationship of this contact to the company. Now we are here, we need to make sure that at the end of the stay we will send the bill for room and breakfast directly to Volvo. So before we go any further, we need to go and save it. It will give out the confirmation number that we need to note down in order to be able then to contact Miss Anderson and confirm the reservation through this number. Click on OK. Now, in order to set up the routing instructions, we need to go into Options, and you have here Routing. So you go into Routing. Basically, you have two options for routing. The first one is you can route all the information to another room. This would be the case, for example, when you have a family of 2 children and 2 adults coming into your hotel. Therefore, they book 2 rooms, and you want the children room to be routed to the parents room in order to only have one single bill instead of having 2 bills. But this is not our case because we want to have a bill for room and breakfast that will be sent to Volvo, and therefore it's not a room but it's a window. Then we need to know if it's for the entire stay or for partial dates only. Regarding companies, most of the time it will be entire stay. So again, you can set up, for example, if the company is sending the employee, Mr. Gillenhammer, for maybe 1 week, Monday to Friday, and he wants to stay over, maybe he will have to pay for his room and breakfast over the weekend. But this is not specified, therefore it's all the entire stay that will be billed. So now we need to set up who do we send the bill to, and therefore you click here on the elevator, because if you don't specify it, we will send the bill to Mr. Gillenhammer. So click on the elevator, select Volvo, OK. Now, what transactions are we going to send to Volvo Cars? Basically, we're going to click on Transactions, and we are looking for room and breakfast. Room and breakfast. So here are all the different transaction codes that you can think of. Basically, we have all transactions or everything, only food and beverage, room, tax, and food and beverage, room and tax. As you know, in Switzerland, we have a tax which is called a touristic tax of 2.5 francs per person and per night. And therefore we always will include taxes when we deal with routing instructions. So this one is room and breakfast, room, tax, and breakfast. So basically you need to select it, double click, it will go down into the selected zone, then you need to activate it by clicking on the first column, you click on OK, and you're back here and you have here the shortcut. Okay. And you click on OK. So now we will route to Volvo room and breakfast for these dates. So now you can close and close again. And now we have a supplementary red rectangle that appears for the routing instructions. It means that now Opera has saved all the routing instructions for this particular guest. So we need to save it, of course, and we click on OK. We have finalized a company reservation with the routing instructions. I will continue directly with travel agent reservations, and you will see that it is not very much complicated. It is the same as a company reservations, but for the sake of the exercise, let's go over it. So again, you always start with the customer first. You need to make sure that we don't have the customer in our database. So basically the name is Wawrinka. As you can see, there is no result, so you create a new guest profile. The guest profile is Wawrinka. His first name is Stanislas. We don't know the middle name. It's a Mr. Do we have his address? Yes, we have his home address. Again, remember about addressing this right address, not to go wrong on this one. You will lose points if you don't enter the proper field. So notice again here we had the name of the city that was Saint-Barthélemy, but the postal code 1040 corresponds to Échalon, which is a bigger city. So it means that Saint-Barthélemy is an area in Échalon. Now, what do we know about Mr. Stanislas Wawrinka? We know nothing more. We were not given his celebrity level, although we know he's a famous tennis player. We have his nationality, that is Swiss. We were even given his birth date, and therefore in order to enter this one you don't have his passport number. We know the features he would like, and therefore we need to go into options, preferences, new preferences. So we know he likes North View and non-smoking. So North View is regarding the room features. We create a new one then for non-smoking. Oh, sorry, close. New one for smoking. And we select non-smoking, okay, close, close. All the information we enter in the preferences will be really helpful later on when we deal with the room assignments, because this will help us in the future in order to make it quicker and easier for us to assign rooms. Okay, we have entered all the information regarding the guest profile. So now we can click on OK. It will save automatically Mr. Wawrinka in our database, and we go forward with the reservation. Therefore, we focus on the room type. So Mr. Wawrinka is looking for a standard double room, SDB, and the rate will be rack rate. So double click on this one. Okay, so it's standard double rack rate. Next, We know that Mr. Wawrinka is arriving today, so again the first date is always today. He's staying for one night, that's perfectly fine. There's going to be 2 adults, 0 childs, and it is 1 single room. What else do we know? We know the ETA, 8 p.m. What else do we know? We know also the reservation type, guaranteed by voucher. Again, whenever we deal with travel agencies, it will be most of the time guaranteed voucher. Then the source is CTR, which stands for Central Reservation System, and the payment will be cash. Again, when we deal with travel agents, it's not because part of the bill is paid by the travel agency that the customer won't pay cash. Therefore, you can have part of the reservation that is sent to the travel agency, and the other part is sent to the, well, will be paid by the customer. Now we need to enter the travel agent. Okay, so in order to do so, we need to go here on top again, above company, and 004, because like any guest, we want to make sure that when we have a travel agent that we don't have an existing profile. Again, here note that it has been clustered to travel agents only. So 004, we have no travel agent. We create a new one. Here again, very similar to the company profile. Again, make sure it's a travel agent profile. You can always double check on it. So basically it's Nyman and Schultz. Okay, the address is a business address, Stockholm Boulevard 22. The city is Gothenburg. The postal code is 47422. Country Sweden. For travel agents, most of the time we will also have the IATA number, which is the International Airline and Travel Association. So they issue specific numbers, which makes it easier then to find them back. And it's also a sign, if you have a IATA number, that the company is a serious one. So what do we know? We know the business phone, which is 46 31 496 1100, and then we know also the fax number, 46 31 496 1111. Okay. You click on OK, it will save it into the database, and now again, like with the contacts from the company, we need to assign a contact for this travel agency. So again, we go and look for contacts in our database. So there is no contact for Nyman and Schultz, so we create a new one. Okay, we have to make sure that it doesn't exist in our contact database because we have Anna Anderson working for Volvo, so we create a new one and we enter the information we have at our disposal. So we have 2 contacts which will be different, therefore we enter the first one. It is Nilsson Mary, English, we don't know if she's a miss, so Any other information? No. We don't need to enter the communications because we're going to use the one from the company. Okay, so you click on OK, and we have another contact. Before that, I need to go back here. I forgot to put the relationship. So you go into options, relationships, there is none, so you create a new one. It's a relationship with a travel agent, employee and employer. You go in the travel agent database. We only have one. You click on OK. So Nielsen Marie is an employee of Niemann and Schultz. OK. Close. We have created the relationship between Nielsen and the company. So you create on OK. Now, this employee will be responsible for the reservation only. Therefore, you click on reservation. Okay. And you can create the second contact. Again, you need to make sure that we don't have this contact in the database. It's not the case. So click on new one, 004. The name this time is Martin. First name Antoinette. Language is English. It's a miss again. We create the relationship, new, travel agent, okay, employee, employer. You have to select the travel agent, which is Neumann and Schultz, okay. Oh, so again, Mrs. Antoinette Martin is the employee of Neumann and Schultz, which is the employer, okay. Close. Again, relationship is created and therefore you have a red rectangle. You click on OK, and this time we need to specify what this contact is responsible for. Therefore, it's responsible for billing. So we have one contact for reservation, one contact for billing. You click on OK, and here we have everything ready. Bear in mind that this contact information has turned to yellow to indicate us that this contact is the one at the moment responsible for the guest reservation. This is because we are at the moment in the reservation phase of the guest cycle, and as soon as the guest checks in, the reservation changes from a profile to a folio, and therefore the contact will be updated to Miss Martin, because once the guest is arrived in our hotel, he is no more a reservation, but he's an in-house guest, and therefore the new contact will be the person responsible for the billing. I think we have all the information now, and therefore we can simply click on OK. It will issue a confirmation number that we communicate both to the travel agent and to the guest. You can click OK and move forward to another reservation. Now, regarding the specials, we are advised that we have some special arrangements to prepare for our guests. The first one is Mrs. Campbell. Therefore, we need to update the reservation. Type in the 3-digit number. Campbell, Naomi. So you double click on the reservation. You are here on the reservation. And any specials will always concern the profile of the customer. Therefore, you click on the gray square here. You go into options, preferences, and you create a new one. The specials can be found here, okay, but I will show you that you can have it somewhere else as well. If you close and close, you have the same here. So again, you click on here, and you can have fruit basket, red wine, white wine, chocolates, newspaper, extra bed, and baby cot. So for Mrs. Campbell, we hear that she wants a baby cot. So you click on baby cot and click on OK. Do you want to attach to the profile? I would say yes. You can also make comments here if you like room close to the elevator, for example, and that's it. So you click on OK, and if you double check, you see that the baby cut is recorded. So what else do we need to do? We want to add an extra bed for Mr. Brad Pitt. Therefore, Pitt, you search in your reservation database, we find Mr. Brad Pitt, you go into specials and you go to extra bed and click OK. You want to attach? Yes. Save. OK. That's it. We have covered the company and the travel agent reservations, we applied the routing instructions, and we finally have added some special features to our guests so that we can accommodate their needs according to what they wish. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you soon.